Okay.
Hi Marty. Marty, I know you're not used to doing video interviews particularly, but we had a very good discussion when we met last week, and all I want to do today is just get a little bit of yourself on video to accompany the CV that we send to a number of selective prospective employers in the region. Now, you are an HR professional with a lot of diverse experience, and so can you just tell me a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, okay, fine. Well, I came into HR about 10 years ago from a business-based route where I'd had various jobs. And my job at the time was working for the chief executive of a development company who actually developed the hotels. I loved the job to begin with, but after 18 months in it, I felt I needed something to be my own person and to have my own identity. So it was at that time that Stanford Hotels, as they were then, were looking for somebody to head up their HR department. Never done anything like it in the past, but obviously they felt there was something there that they could work on. And I was offered the position and took it. My boss went puce when I told him, and he was not too happy. And as we were sharing the same building, it was a little bit difficult for a while. But anyway, I started off in the role and thought, what on earth have I done? I can't do this. But after 6 months, I think the first 6 months are always the worst. I had lots of help, lots of encouragement, lots of people working with me, and so I began to grow into the role. Yes, I made mistakes to begin with, as you would do in such a thing, because you have this idea that this is what you're going to do, and it's nothing like it when you do it. So that was the one where I really grew into the HR role, and I was there for about 5 years, looked after, by the time I left, 15 hotels, had opened 6 new hotels in the time, so I'd gone through all the induction processes and everything. We'd introduced some good things there. We'd introduced things like an emphasis on induction, because we were having an awful lot of trouble with people leaving in the first 3 months because they just ran away. One left after 3 hours, went out for a fag and never came back. I don't think we would have caught that one, but from a staff survey we picked up on this induction problem. So it was then fell to me to try and, what are we going to do about it? The first thing we did was to develop an interactive induction book so that people had something to work through and people had something to refer to during their first few months. And then once they'd gone through that book, we then put in place an induction training course, which was away from their base of the hotel, so they stayed in another hotel, got an experience in another hotel. And it worked really well. We did lots of mad games and we really got people working together. And from that, we then managed to reduce our attrition, so we were doing much better. We managed to keep our staff. So things like that I worked on there. I was very strong at doing staff surveys. I used to go around to the hotels so everybody knew me. Anybody who wanted to see me could see me. It wasn't a problem. And I was there also to advise the managers, obviously, if they had any issues. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just in case anything blew up.
Can we just recap?
Yes.
Barring talking about current employer, dropping some company names where anyone viewing this video would be familiar with such businesses. Not necessarily Summerston Hotels.
No, that's the others,
but you've got a very good breadth of experience on the HR front at Bovey Castle.
That's right.
Also Riviera Desserts, which was part of the Unique group. And then more recently Friends Providence as well.
That's right, yes.
So can you tell me how much you feel you have improved year on year as an HR generalist, and also then what you're looking for now?
Okay. Well, each company has brought us experiences. Bovey Castle was certainly an eye-opener, and Bovey Castle gave me a feeling of what it's like to be actually at the coalface. Before I'd been remote, so I didn't have the day-to-day problems that I had at Bovey Castle. And because you had to react very quickly at Bovey, it was 7 days a weekend, 24 hours a day, hotels are always fun. It sharpens your decision-making skills. It makes you more confident of what you're doing. And with each time you have a different situation, like knife fights in the middle of Norton Hampstead, you learn from it, you learn what to do next, and when the situation arises again...
I presume that put you a cut above the rest?
Oh, yeah, very good. Yes, very good, yes. Yes, it was a different time. It certainly was a very different time, but I felt that after 2.5 years, 4 managers. I wanted some stability, and I also wanted to try a different industry because all I'd done was hotels. Hotels was very in your face. They live there, they work there, so you're involved in all their problems, and you have a horrendous staff turnover which you can never solve, certainly in somewhere like Bovey Castle because of its location. So we had an awful lot of Eastern Europeans there who come and go like the weather. I mean, one housekeeping department turned over 130% of its staff one year. So as I say, I wanted to get out of hotels, but it was quite difficult because I seemed to be branded as a hotel person. And then I was offered the job at Riviera Desserts. I was working with the head of HR, and we had an HR administrator and an occupational health nurse. And that was the first time I'd worked in a department as such. And I really loved it. It was great. It was great to have somebody to bounce ideas off. It was great to learn from somebody else and how they did things. I learnt so much there because we were dealing with unions. Again, it was 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. So if you had to go in to do a disciplinary, you would, at whatever time it was. And certainly once the closure was announced, then we really pulled out the stops and we were there all the time. So we had to see everybody. And although I'm very sorry that it closed and it actually shut the doors a couple of weeks ago, I did learn a lot during the close down, and because we had to obviously comply with DTI regulations, we had the unions to keep happy as well, and of course we had to treat our people fairly. We did what I think was a very good job, and certainly we did get very positive feedback from our staff, even though unfortunately we'd have to let them go.
We've only got a minute left.
Okay. Fine.
So
I'm talking too much, aren't I?
I know you're very, very enthusiastic, very passionate about HR. What does HR mean to you and your next role that you're looking for?
In my next role, HR to me it's all about customer service, and I feel that the company and the people I'm looking after are my customers. And it's very important to look at the bigger picture and to make yourself worth, save the company some money, so you earn your keep. And I'm looking for a company. I'd like to get back into manufacturing. I do like manufacturing, but I'm looking at any type that will give me the experience and use my experience. And I'm looking for stability. And I want a job that I'm going to stay in and grow in. And
sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
In a nutshell, Marty, what do you have to offer a prospective employer?
Well, one thing that I've always prided myself on is customer service. I do look after people. I'm very quick to build up good working relationships with people, as I've had to do, because to all intents and purposes I've had 3 interim roles over the last 2 years. I'm also very good at analysing and doing stats, etc., trying to bring things to life. I'm always looking to save money, always looking.
Brilliant.
Where I'm at the moment, I've just identified an £11,000 saving by not paying out holidays. We should get a better policy in place.
Legally
and make people
as well.
and legally, absolutely legally.
Marty, I want to thank you very much indeed. I have to call it a day because otherwise the video won't be formatted properly.
That's absolutely
fine. So it's been a pleasure talking to you in
Thank you
the
very
video.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.